Hello, hello, fellow solopreneurs. Are you feeling stuck in the never ending cycle of creating content for Instagram? New content. Trust me, I've been there. And as a busy business owner and solopreneur myself, I know how time consuming it can be and overwhelming content creation can be. But what if I told you there's a way to make most of your existing Instagram content while saving time and elevating your online presence, right? And so that's the topic I'm going to dive into today. It's called repurposing. And hey, Jamar, I'm so glad you're here. Woo! I just drank some chai before I started this live and it's getting stuck in my throat. I'm so sorry. Okay. I'm Prati. I liberate business owners and solopreneurs from social media burnout without losing their sanity so that they can get back to enjoying their life. And I'm sure that's why you're here because you want to know how you can do that too. Well, in this video, I'm going to talk about my go-to strategy and method for smart content creation and my 3 favorite tools to make that content creation workflow easier so I can get back to business. And you know what I'm saying, right? So let's get right into it. So I am going to do a little bit of like a presentation, not presentation, but like I have some slides to show you, and then I'm going to show you some real life stuff. Cool? All right. So let me get that going. Yep. Okay, cool. Okay. So my secret weapon is the 3RC method. That's what I call it. That's my secret weapon for content success. And I want to tell you a bit more about this method. And it's really, like I said, my go-to strategy for smart content creation since a few years now. And it stands for reshare, revive, and reforming your content. So here's high level. Well, actually, here's the lowdown. I'm going to tell you more about it. So you want to think about, when you think about repurposing, you want to be able to share your top performing content again, right? Without making too many changes, actually no changes at all. Maybe just a few changes here and there, like your caption or your call to action. And then you want to think about how you can revive content, maybe older content that didn't strike a chord with your audience, and maybe give it some new insights or some like new look to it, right? And then you can also think about reforming existing content into new formats. And that really helps with experimentation. And when you think about like which is the most time consuming, that's the most time consuming. And then the least one is when you're exactly resharing the same content again, right? So think about it like reusing, recycling your stuff. Okay. And before I break these down and go into what it all means and show you how to do it, let me tell you why I love this method. Okay. Adopting this method comes with some serious perks, right? Saving time. Hello, extra chai breaks. If you prefer coffee over chai, I won't hate you, but chai is my jam. You can also increase your content output without extra stress. I mean, who doesn't want that? And then you can also reach a wider audience who maybe prefer different content types. You might find that some people prefer carousels and graphics and reading over like reels, right? Like just looking at videos all the time. And you might find people the other way too. So this gives it variety. And then it also lets you keep your messaging consistent over time, because we know on social media, not everybody sees what you post that first time, that one new piece of content. So why not use it again and again so that they can hear that message again, and it just might hit differently, right? So that's the point. All right, so now let me break down each of those things, right? This is the method that can really transform your content game. And I love talking about it, and I haven't done much talking about it. So this year I'm going to do that. Okay, so the first one, like I said, you can reshare your past good performing content. Basically, think of it as like giving your winners a second chance to win again. So what you want to do is you want to look at your Instagram analytics from 3 months or more. This is probably the best way to go about doing it. And then you find your best content and then reuse it depending on what your business goals are. And you can even change the caption or CTAs. So you want to take a look at your most successful pieces, the carousels, reels, posts, everything that your audience loved. And instead of always starting from scratch, you push it out again, right? And you can even push it out to different platforms if it makes sense. And you can even do it the other way. For example, you can take a popular blog post or a podcast episode and just share those key points from each of those onto Instagram and Threads even. So easy peasy. That's kind of how you want to think about reshare. So here's an example of what I posted in November 2023. Okay. This was like a tweet thing, a graphic that I posted, and it did pretty well in terms of like likes and some comments in there. And then I literally just changed the background. I shared the same thing and it did well again. I also changed maybe the caption a little bit more. And actually, I don't even think I should change the caption. So feel free to do that because you can see it resonated again with the same people, right? Or even new people who've joined you, right? Okay, the next one is reviving your content. So think of this as like updating and refreshing your past content, right? So you can give your content, your old content, a new spin, a new thought. You can add a fresh perspective. And we all know, again, in the Instagram world, things can change pretty quickly. And content can become outdated. The way people share content, like last year was full on B-roll. Like B-roll content did really well. And things I can see already changing this year where you see a lot of people putting the text and say, read caption for more and all that. Like it's not that useful anymore. People are just done with it. So why not change it up and try something different, right? So you can use this method, the revive method, to kind of give that an update. So this is where it comes in handy and you want to breathe in new life to your content. So think about like if you want to add any new data or insights or trends, like I said, that have emerged since you first published that previous content. So the example that I gave, right? B-roll used to be really cool last year, and so maybe it doesn't like hit the same this year. And I'm pretty sure like that's what people are you've probably seen too. So change it up. Or if there's any new developments in your field, in your industry, you can share those updates, but still like share the majority of the older content, right? You can even sprinkle in some fresh case studies, fresh examples from like newer clients, but still use the same template of like a graphic that you created and the post that you made before, right? You can even change up the visuals and the formatting to make your content pop again. Canva has posted a 2025 trends in terms of visuals. So you can use their like trends and what they recommend and then change up your carousels, things like that, and your graphics to make it pop this year, right? Like just think about those kind of things. And then you can also give new thoughts and perspectives or new spin or take. So here's an example of what I did. I had a carousel that I posted January in 2024. And then in September, I posted that same carousel, but I changed up the first slide. I changed up the hook a little bit, right? You can see the difference. And you can see the data on it. Like, it did pretty similar in that sense. And I got more views on it this time instead of the previous time. So sometimes it may hit the same, sometimes it may hit better. You don't know. This was just an experiment to see like, hey, maybe changing up the first slide could, maybe resonate more with people. I just tried it out. So again, not everything is going to be successful, but it's a way that you can, again, reuse, revive your content. Okay. And let's see the next one. Okay. This is ultimately my favorite way of doing things. And I'll tell you why in just a little bit, but reformatting your content into new formats. It is a little bit more time consuming, but it lets you experiment and just try new things. Let your creativity kind of run wild, right? And this is where the magic really happens. It's about taking your existing content and transforming it into different formats. And what's cool about this method is that you can, again, go across platforms. And I'm going to show you how. So this is where, again, you can experiment and try new things, right? So I've given some examples. Let's say you have an Instagram, like a short reel, but you have a long caption, right? Like a short reel, meaning like maybe a B-roll reel, like 5 to 7 seconds, that's it. But you have like a long caption where you're sharing a strategy, a recipe, a how-to, like steps maybe. You can take that same reel, turn it into a graphic, right? And then give it the same caption. You can also take that caption, because it's long and you had a lot of information in there, turn it into a carousel, an email, a LinkedIn video, a LinkedIn document, which is like a carousel. You can create multiple threads. You can even create a talking YouTube short, right? Using that same caption. You can even create a blog post. Okay. So I'm not going to get into how you can do this with like other platforms. This particular video, I'm going to show like Instagram to Instagram, but at the end, I'm going to show you how I use AI to actually take one of my short reels with the caption and how I created a carousel out of it. So I got you, but I just wanted to kind of give you this thought of, oh my God, I can actually do this stuff. Yes, you can. And then, for example, you can take a carousel with a lot of text. So maybe over like 10, 20 slides, you've shown like step by step on how to do something, or shared a story even about what's going on with you in your life. You can use that as a script for a talking reel or even a YouTube short. You can create a short reel with the text and then just highlights from your carousel and then put the rest in the caption. You can, again, create a LinkedIn document, LinkedIn video, multiple threads, email, blog post. So I want you to think outside the box in terms of like, oh my God, I can do a lot with this content and a lot with your Instagram content versus thinking it's very limited to just Instagram. And this will allow you to, put your feet into other platforms, but also, again, give new life to your content. So the next one, let's say you have an infographic or like a listicle. So meaning like, I'll show you an example actually. I don't even know why I'm doing that, but okay. Like I'm going to show you an example of that. You can turn that into a carousel, right? You can put each of those information pieces into different slides in a carousel. You can do a talking reel or YouTube short. You can even do a short reel with text to some audio. You can create a threads or post it to X. Okay. So, okay, sorry, I meant to show you these examples now. So let me stop and let me now show you those examples. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, so here I had a reel, and it was a really short reel, just with like text on it. And then I shared a process, right, in my caption. Okay, this was the whole caption. You can see all of this. What I did with that just recently, actually this week, I created a carousel out of it. I, figured out, and I used AI for this, and I'll show you how I did that at the end of, more towards the end of this video. But this is what I ended up making. I created a carousel with that kind of same content, and I helped AI make it, or I asked ChatGPT to just kind of make it more concise, more like, just, I'm very, with my words, sometimes I have trouble, like I add a lot of words and I don't know how to make it clear and succinct. So that's my thing. And so I use ChatGPT to just take all my caption and then put it into 5 to 8 slides. And again, I'm going to show you this in a little bit, but that's how I made this carousel. So literally I kind of reshared that same thing and I created a 8-slide carousel out of that. Okay, so that's one way. And this is the, not resharing, but it's a reforming. Okay. And then here I took a carousel that I shared back, I think 9 weeks ago. Okay. I had little graphics and then very short caption. And I made this into a reel this week. I actually used those exact words. I didn't use all of the slides, but I used most of them. And I just made a talking reel where I had, some videos that I made, and it was very short. And, I kind of just posted that this week. So that, again, I reformed it from a graphic carousel to a short reel. And then here's another example of where I took a graphic. Like, this is what I called a listicle, kind of like an infographic, but it's more like a list of stuff. And then I turned it into a reel, like what you think gets more business. And then I put those things that I said, right? And then what actually gets more business, I put that as the next one, right? So you saw that. This is what I put at the beginning of the reel. This is what I put at the end of the reel. So you can do things like that. And then I just found a video that I had recently made, and I just kind of put that on there, right? So that's what you can do. And I used, I think, the same caption even. Yeah, about the same caption, really. So these are kind of the different ways you can look at it and how you can repurpose your content, but in a very effective way and still post it onto Instagram, right? Okay, now back to this one. Sorry, you're like seeing everything that I'm doing. Now I wanted to talk about what to do with that after that, because then you're probably like, okay, Prathi, now on. Oops. Okay, so like I said, the reforming into new formats is really good because, again, you don't only have to do this on Instagram. You can turn a blog post into an engaging video script, like for YouTube, right? I had made a post, a long post. I don't have a blog, but about this method, this 3RC method, and I created this video for it. I literally made like everything that I'm talking right now. I had already made a post, a long post, and I just converted this into this video right here. You can turn a podcast episode into a graphic, a carousel, a talking to camera reel, and several short B-roll style reels. And then you've got 5 posts for 1 week, all about that one episode that you made. You can even turn your you can turn your talking to camera TikTok videos into carousels, emails, blog posts, and reels. Hint, hint, in case the ban happens, this is probably what you can do, right? And then really reforming helps you reach different audience segments, like I said, who prefer different content types. And it's kind of like saving the same delicious meal in different dishes. Everyone gets to enjoy it their way, right? So think about reforming as, yes, it's going to take a little bit more time, but it is super powerful. Okay. So ready to put the 3RC method into action? Well, here's how you can get started, right? You can do a content audit, again, to find your top performers. And I recommend Metricool. And I want to show you Metricool and how I do it so that you can do it yourself. Okay, so this is Metricool. Metricool is a social media management tool, planning tool, analytics tool. It kind of just takes care of whatever you're doing on social media and also helps you repurpose and reuse your content. So when you, let's say, go on Instagram, at the top, you have something called posts, right? And it gives you all the summary of your posts, but you can also see the list of posts, and then you can sort. So what I do if I want to find content that I want to reshare is I, see, okay, maybe I want to go to the one that reached the most people, or maybe I want to check like the one that was saved the most and I want to share that again. So it really depends on what you're looking for, but you can sort. And so let's say this week this was the one that I shared with you, and I showed you the carousel that I made regarding this whole process. You can literally click on reuse content, and on Metricool, they will take everything that you had like made last time, pulls it in, and it's there. Like all you have to do is go and choose the date where you want to publish it again, and you schedule it out. It's that easy. It's that easy to reuse and reshare your content on Metricool. So that's why I love this one for that. Next one is if you want to, continue on the method, this is what I would do. Okay. Create that content calendar so you can plan ahead and include more evergreen content so you can reshare and revive it. And when I talk about evergreen content, what I mean is that it's content that doesn't lose interest, right? It's still relevant over time. And that makes resharing, reviving, and reforming so much easier, right? And that's kind of what you want to think about. If you make trending content and content that's always like based on what is happening now, it's a little bit harder, right, to reuse it again. So think about making more evergreen content and then sprinkle in the trending content after that, right? And then what I would do is also create a content bank. Okay. So I know people who have been doing TikTok a lot and prioritize that. They're like, oh my God, like, how do I save all my videos? And this is where creating a content bank is important, right? And especially if you have evergreen content that you can repurpose and reuse again, content bank is going to be important. So basically, what all I mean is archive your stuff, right? In case the platform disappears. Hint, hint, again, you have your posts that you can use in another channel. And so I'm going to show you how I do this with Canva and Google Drive in case you're a heavy Canva user and you want to save your stuff to Google Drive. Okay, so let's go to that. All right. So this was the carousel that I saved, or sorry, that I posted this week. You remember I told you I had made a reel about it, and then I reformatted it into a carousel. Now I know I can use this again, right? So I have this in Canva. So what I'm going to do is go to apps. This is like Canva is so powerful. It's crazy. Like they have apps where you can kind of integrate and, connect to other things, right? So I'm going to look up Google Drive. And then I'm going to add that. So I already have this, but these are the steps you would take. And then it pulls up all your stuff. Once you connect, like mine is already connected, you can go to where you want to save this piece of content, right? So I have a folder called, I think, Evergreen and Instagram. I think this is where it's at. Sorry. Okay, so I have an Instagram folder, and inside that I have like single graphic, carousels, and videos, right? So these are all my evergreen Instagram content. So this is a carousel. So I'm going to go to carousel, click on evergreen, and then I'm going to click on save to Google Drive. Yeah, Jamar, they have some apps in there that I feel like are so useful. And then pick a file format to export your design because I want it to be exported. I don't want to save the Canva design link. I want to actually export the file so I can like unload it, zip, unzip it and all that kind of stuff. Click continue and let it do its thing. You choose the format. I want it in a PNG. I export, and then I'm going to show you that it ends up over there. And it even puts the name properly. Okay, so it's over there. Let's go into my drive. I'm going to share my tab. Hold on one second. Okay, so here's my drive. And you remember I said go into carousels. There it is. Okay, so it's been put inside my drive and you can just unzip it when you need to. Cool. So that's that. Like, isn't that cool? I mean, like literally now if you can create your content bank inside Drive. And so how do you organize the drive? So Jamar, you asked how I organize it. So let me show you. Okay. Again, I'm more interested in like just making sure that I have my social content and content bank like kind of somewhere, right? So what I've done is I've named it Instagram. So you could easily name it YouTube or TikTok or threads or whatever. And if you feel like you have something to manage, like in terms of evergreen content, put it in those folders. Then I've named it videos, single graphic carousels. If you want to save non-evergreen content, of course you can, but and use it later. But I just care about more the evergreen content that I can keep reusing. And then, if you have that, you can post it in there. So that's it. That's all I have. And I'm not going to show how I did this right now in this video, but I actually created a Zap using Zapier. And every time I add something into this folder, I actually end up adding, this is my content bank actually. This is like a list of my content. And that way I can easily see what I had talked about in that post and just go get it from my Google Drive versus me searching for it. So what the Zap does is when I add that, when I showed you that flow of adding the saving to Google Drive from Canva, it goes and adds this little link to where it is in the Google Drive, but then it also, what that carousel is about, that's what I care about. So you could see, you could do even more organization in terms of like creating this bank so that, hey, when you hire a VA or hire a social media manager, and they don't have to keep coming and asking you, hey, Prati, like, where's this piece of content? Like, what can I use? Or do you have anything that talks about repurposing? Well, I can be like, here, let me share my content bank, my list of content that I've made over the last year or 6 months or whatever, however long you want to have this, and then let them go find the stuff that they need and they can do their thing, right? So this is another additional thing that you can do is like actually create an Excel sheet and point to those evergreen pieces of content so that you can easily sort, search, things like that. But for now, you can just stick to creating at least a Google folder and Google Drive and like storing it in there for now. But if you want to go further, you can use automation and Zapier to kind of do those things. So hope that didn't confuse you, but that's what I do. But I'm happy to like talk more about that and show you how I do that and create that Zap in another video. Oh, you've been overwriting your Canva file each time? Meaning, like, maybe you can expand on that and maybe we can like talk about that too, Jamar. Okay, and then the fourth thing, now again, is that you can use AI, right, to help you reform your content. This is where it's been so useful for me. I've done a few things. I've done my YouTube video transcripts and I've converted it into a whole week of Instagram content, just a week, but I could do more, I'm pretty sure. But I'm going to show you what I did this week. And if you remember that same example where I made my reel into a carousel this week, I'm going to show you how I did that using. Now, I know there's a lot of concern about like, ChatGPT, OpenAI, using your information, your methods, your frameworks, and like kind of sharing that to the world. So there is a setting that you can do to disable that. But this, I'm not looking at outside content. I'm using my own content, my own captions, my own stuff that I've created and repurposing it, right? And I'm telling it to use that and not like other things outside. So it's using my own work. Does that make sense? So, okay. So here's what I gave it. This is, by the way, my little chat name is Chitty. I've named him. I don't know if it's a girl or boy, honestly. I don't care. But it's been helping me so much. So, okay, this wasn't the one. Hold on one second. My bad. Where is it? See, I thought I would be ready to show you, but then this ended up happening. Hold on. Okay, it is here. Is it this one? Okay, give me a second. Hey, this is what happens live, right? Sometimes you end up thinking you're prepared, but you're not. Hold on. There it is. Okay, I think I found it. Yeah, Jamar, I've started using the folders, the projects, they call it projects. And so it's actually now I'm able to just put files in there and I don't have to keep like giving the information again and again. So it's helped a lot. Okay, here we go. Here is my chat. Okay, so Chitti, this is what I said to it, right? Let's use this chat to, okay, that's that. Okay, so here's the reel I posted and I gave it the screenshot of my reel because it had some text on it, right? And if you remember, that was this reel, okay? I gave it that. And I said, I gave it the caption, the full caption that I had initially shared on that reel. I said, help me reform this into 5 to 8 slides carousel with an attention grabbing fun hook at the beginning. I want people to shift the way they think about making content for social, like thinking about paradigm shifts, right? I want to really hone in on that. And so that's why I told Chitti to kind of give me that thought process, right? So it gave me 8 slides, 5 to 8 slides, and it was good. It was good where it started, and I just kind of, and it even at the end, it said some visual ideas that I can have for the carousel, right? And that was helpful too, right? And I forgot to screenshot that and send it. So anyways, um, and then also reword it because I had some missing thing in there and blah blah blah. So anyways, you can see like it literally threw out everything I needed, and you can adjust it, see if it works, see if it made sense. And then it's told me what additions it did. And again, this is all based on the information that I've already given it before. And it knows my brand. It knows what I'm trying to accomplish. It knows who I'm talking to. So just make sure all of that is very clear and you provide that info before like doing this, because then it's kind of going to be very general. And so you can keep prompting it though. So anyways, you saw I loved it. And then I said, give me a short, engaging caption for this. Okay, so it gave me all this, and then I didn't use the hashtags, but you know, you can see that this is what I ended up using. Where is it? Right there. Okay, so I have a template already in Canva that I use, so I just plugged and played into that, and I just used that again. The hook that it gave me and changed it up a little bit. I put it into the format that I like because I have a template already. And then I added this little picture at the end. So you can always personalize it more, right? You can always personalize your content, switch it up a little bit. So that's what's cool about Instagram visually. Like people are not going to remember this picture, this shirt I wore that I 3 months ago. You can change things up a little bit that way and don't have to change the majority of your content. Okay. Okay, so that's that. Now, that's how I use ChatGPT to reform my content. And I use this for YouTube as well, as I mentioned. So I've taken my transcript and I've created Instagram posts from it, a LinkedIn post from it, an email that summarizes my YouTube video and sends it out and gets people to watch it, all of that. So the last thing I want to say is like, just keep an eye on your metrics, right? I would say every 90 days is a great time to see what things really resonated with your audience, and then use for your next, week, month, whatever, you can use content from the previous 90 days that worked really well, or maybe that you really liked and you just want to switch it up a little bit. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? And so now that you have the 3RC method in your toolkit, you're ready to work smarter and harder. And by resharing, reviving, and reforming, you can still build a strong online presence, and that keeps your audience coming back for more, right? And before you dive in, though, into this method, let me ask you this. Is your Instagram profile actually set up to attract the right people, the right audience? So think about it. Okay, your profile is your very first impression that your audience gets. So if it's not doing the heavy lifting of grabbing attention and converting visitors into followers, then even the best content strategy will fall flat, right? So that's why your first step is really to optimize your profile. And that's why I made this resource for you. And I'm so happy that it's like there for you, because I wish I had something like this, which someone just took me through and helped me just do it quickly. So Optimize to Attract is a free 3-day challenge. And I give you 3 simple tweaks to basically create the Instagram profile your dream clients can't resist following, right? And so click in the link in the description in the video to join the challenge and turn your profile into a client magnet. And we can make this happen. Then you can use the 3RC method and any method you want, and your content, strategy is ready to go. But I can't wait to see you inside the challenge. And Jamar, do you have any questions? Anything else? I know you were asking about like organization and things like that, but if there is nothing else, then that is it. Take a sip of my chai. Awesome. So finally, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more tips for mastering social media without losing your sanity. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Bye, Jamar.